Yeah, they start like fighting. Like,
That would be the real entertainment.
that would be that would be awesome. Should I send the video to the group chat?
Addie Wells.
Standing in a crowded room and I can't see her face. Put your arms around me, tell me everything's okay. In my mind I'm running round a cold and empty space. Just put your arms around me, tell me everything's okay.
Welcome back for Game 2 of today's doubleheader here at Illinois Wesleyan. It is the second one of doubleheader, Game 6 of 8 in the tournament today. I'm Caden Sexton. Alongside me is Kirill Anatazov. Kirill, we will start the game with the DePaul. I mean, we're flipping between who's home and away, so we start with DePaul on the field, and it's the starter against the Titans of Illinois Wesleyan yesterday in Alex Romero Salas.
Yeah, Romero Salas, as you mentioned, she pitched a full game yesterday against Illinois Wesleyan. That was a 6-1 defeat for the Tigers. However, she did last 7 innings, gave up 10 hits for 6 runs. Only 3 of those earned, however, so she can be satisfied with it, even though she was credited with the loss, her first of the season. She'll be satisfied with her performance, and it'll be interesting to see how she handles Wartburg today.
Well, Fellows is someone who has seen the leadoff spot in every game, and she is the only 5th year in the tournament. In the game we just watched, Sydney Fellows. The game we just watched, Sydney Fellows went 1 for 3, but that one hit was the one that got on base to score the winning run.
Yeah, she was crucial. She really found her best at the biggest moment, and she starts off hot in this game.
So that is a single for her to get things going here. So now it is time for Hassel, the shortstop for the Knights. She hit the RBI triple that won the game on a walk-off just moments ago, Kirill.
Yeah, you'll recall that in the last game we were discussing how Fellows and Hassel were a combined 1-5 coming into that last inning, and then they found their best at the right moment, and this one's dropped.
This one dropped by Lockridge, but still gets the lead runner out number 1, but at least Hassel over at first base if you're a Knight fan.
Yeah, good recovery from Lockridge after a little bit of a mishap.
Again, in this tournament, Coach Jamie Mueller has not touched the top 5 in her order. They've changed their positions, a couple of them, but none of them have been taken out of that top 5 hitting, nor have they been switched around, and it's Bradar back in the lineup for this one. Bradar As this is going to be, I thought there was stolen base attempts. My apologies. I was just getting a little bit too excited for more softball. But Berdar 2 for 3 in the first game. She was the star offensively and defensively. Something to watch out for if you are the Tiger defense. As there's the stolen base. Again, I was close. I knew she was going for it. And she's going to try for 3 off the overthrow and gets it. So now a completely different situation. Hassel, thanks to the throw-in error by catcher, who we didn't see in the first game. In Smith. We saw her in just game 1, so she's been 2 games on the bench, and she makes the throw-in error to start this one.
Yeah, not the best start. She's a little rusty, and for DePaul, this is a little too familiar. They started off game 1, weekly 2, and now they have a runner in scoring position, Wartburg do, early on.
This one's hit. It doesn't go in the gap, but it is chopped down by the first baseman, another player that hasn't seen any time in the tournament, and it's already 1-0 thanks to that RBI by Berdar.
Yeah, now that's another fielding mistake. That's already, if you can count them, 3 mistakes made. How many of them are going to get credited as errors remains to be seen, but definitely not the start DePaul wanted, and they really, really need to calm the tensions here.
So here's Wabenge, the first baseman for the Knights. Wabenge 0 for 2 with a walk in hit by pitch in game number 1.
Yeah, she'll be hoping to ride this momentum that her teammates have crafted early on here.
Oh, and 1 pitch, and that one's going for strike 2.
It's a good choice to fake the stolen base attempt, especially given how unconfident this DePaul defense must be right now. And we did see an error from the catcher, so always good to keep them on their toes. This one's connected with.
Pops up, but it's going to be caught in right field for out number 2. Out there in right for this game is Ella Kinster. And so now it's Mulder, the designated player in this one for Mueller's team. She's played second as well in this tournament. Stolen base attempt there, and it's off of herself. That was off Berdar, and so that'll count as a stolen base, but she kind of got hit there on the throwdown from Smith.
Yeah, very uncomfortable situation to step into here if you are Romero Salas.
Again, she pitched the full game against Illinois Wesleyan and has been their ace the last 2 years, as that one goes for ball number 2.
You don't want to have to play catch up like they did in the first game. They did a fine job with it then, but it's not a situation you want to drag yourself into early, regardless of if you're capable of coming back or not.
And this one's hit up the middle. It's to short. Going to be fielded cleanly for out number 3. So 1 run does score here in the top of the first. So the Knights go in early, up 1. You're watching IWSports.com.
I can see it now. The smell of the grass on the quad. That sense of excitement in the air each fall. It feels like yesterday. While I'm no longer 18, I know there are students out there ready for an opportunity like I had. For the space to discover passions, bond over dreams, and make lifelong friends. Breakthrough at Illinois Wesleyan University.
Welcome back here to Bloomington. I'm Caden Sexton. Alongside me is Kirill Anatazov. Kirill, kind of preview for us today's pitcher in game number 2. It's Haley Frost. She started one of the 2 games yesterday, the freshman from Washburn, Iowa. I'm sorry, she did not start. She came in as relief in one of the 2 games yesterday.
Yeah, she's had a Well, she hasn't had as much action as a starter this season, just one start on the mound, but as an ERA of 9.15, not a great mark, but then again, with not a lot of statistics behind that, one bad game can really skew those stats. So, big opportunity for her, and with Wartburg already having 2 wins in this tournament, it's a good choice to give her the opportunity, see what she can do with just her second start of the season.
Well, it is Minobi who sat in the last game, didn't get her pinch hit opportunity, didn't even come in as a pinch hitter, who led off the first 2 and gets a already bat on ball, flipped over from our second baseman for out number 1. Over at second, that is Metz. We saw her designated player in games 1 and 3. She's second base for games 2 and 4.
That's the sort of start you want if you're Frost. Quick out, set the tone. Show that even though you're not someone who's seen a lot of playing time, you're capable of stepping up into that increased role.
So here's Riley Heim, who we did not see bat this high all tournament. Now moved up to the 2 spot. Last game she was over in the 6 hole, but hitting 1 for 3 with an RBI gets you in that. I'm sorry, it's just hitting 1 for 3. She had a run scored, not an RBI. Hitting 1 for 3 gets you moved up in the lineup. Especially in a pitcher duel when you're able to break contact.
Yeah, absolutely. And when the pitches are on, it just adds more merit, more importance to the rare hit that you can manage.
This one hit right to third. It's Wells across the diamond, but it's a little bit of an overthrow, and so second base at the least for Heim. She'll stay at second off of the error by the third baseman.
Yeah, Wells will be really disappointed with that one, especially given how fantastic she was in the first game fielding, catching a couple of line drives towards the end. Mistimed that throw. She'll hope to forget that one quickly, and Frost can help her in that if she can manage a quick out here.
And so now it is Ella Kunster as this one right back to second, and it's going to be a self-proclaimed double play out there by the second baseman. It's the player that's been between designated player and second, but when she's out there, she makes her mark. It's Riley Metz.
Yeah, absolutely brilliant from her. I mean, the awareness to see that the runner's taken off, and you see the instant replay here. She reads that very well and very quickly manages to get the out.
We'll be back after these short words from our sponsors here on iwsports.com.
When competition for the best jobs is fierce, how do you set yourself apart? Experience? An education? Yes, but not just any education. At Illinois Wesleyan, we prepare graduates who break through the noise, who run the boardroom, the classroom, the lab, the stage. The best college for jobs in Illinois is right in your own backyard. Reach further, dream bigger, and break through at Illinois Wesleyan University.
Back here for Romero Salas' second inning of work. She allowed a run in the first, but would like to tone things back down here, as it's the player who just turned that double play up for the Wartburg Knights. Take another look at this incredible play, Kirill, by Riley Metz.
Yeah, I mean, she did so well to get back in time, and it keeps Wartburg in that 1-0 lead. It's a slim lead, but it's an important one.
Riley Metz in game number 1. Riley Metz in game number 1, able to hit 1 for 3 with the RBI. As that one curves in the zone for strike 1.
Good pitch from Romero Salas.
So Metz really has been, she moved up after game 1 from the 8 spot to the 6, and she's kind of been the second anchor of Coach Mueller's not changing top of the order as she takes ball 1 to even the count.
Yeah, coming into today, so prior to game 1 of this doubleheader, she was 240 on the season, and she tips this one foul. She's registered 2 doubles and 2 home runs with 12 total hits this season. So while she's not the most prolific hitter, when she does get that ball in play, you can expect something special.
This one's hit hard. It's going foul, but it might be catchable. And it is. That's left fielder out there in Spadell, who gets out number 1.
Yeah, Spadell did very, very well to get there.
Pop up in foul territory. It's always the favorable out if you are the... It's always a favorable out as the defense when you don't even have to... I mean, if you drop it or if you don't get there in time, okay, it's still a strike. And
yeah, precisely. I mean, no pressure. That's the sort of situation you dream about as an outfielder. An easy way to boost your confidence, easy way to get an out on the board, and if not, no harm, no foul.
So it's the sophomore from Phoenix, Arizona, and Stephanie Kiefer to the dish. She's hitting 148 on the year. We saw her already in the tournament, but not yet today, as she pops out to right to Kunster for out number 2.
2 quick outs now, and it's a good reset from DePaul.
Well, and maybe it's the change of pitcher, but 3 of the 5 outs so far for this Tiger defense have came off of pop-outs. I'll do the math very quickly, but about 3 in the whole game won for that defense.
Yeah.
Actually, no, there was 0. I'm looking at it. There was 0 pop-outs for the Tigers in game number 1. They already have 3 in 5 outs this inning.
And I think the outfielders won't mind that because they're nice, easy balls for them to catch here. Romero Salas' pitching style definitely inviting higher contact.
So on third glance, there was 1. So first batter in game number 1 was Sydney Fellows. She flew out to right. Every other at-bat was either a walk, a hit, an error, what have you. Nothing else caught in the air.
Yeah,
on the other side, there was a handful, at least 4 or 5, for this for the Tiger offense, Wartburg defense.
Yeah, we saw plenty of ground outs. So already we see the shifting dynamic in this game, and that's the beauty of softball doubleheaders. Game 1 and Game 2 could be entirely different. Different outcome, different winner, different scoring pattern, and as you noted.
And she looks at strike 3 on the 1-2 pitch. We'll go into the bottom of the second with the Tigers holding the game at 1.
Why is Illinois Wesleyan the #1 school in Illinois for jobs? Maybe it's because we're the AND University. That's right, A-N-D. And here you can explore the arts and study in a pre-professional program, double major, and play a sport, do an internship, and study abroad. Your opportunities are endless. Set yourself apart with a degree from Illinois Wesleyan.
Well, we just heard over the PA that Allie Happ has taken over at second base. So I'm not sure if it's just for fielding. I'm not sure if it's for injury. But, Metz, she popped out to left in that at-bat, her last at-bat, but she had the double play. So she's not being subbed, I can only assume, based off of the double play, for her fielding.
Yeah, surely it can't be a tactical decision. There must have been something, some sort of tumble. She must have picked up a knock. Yeah, confusing at first glance, but, well, we hope she's doing well, whatever the case may be.
Well, and her bat is going to be missed if not. She's somebody who's having an prolific tournament.
Absolutely, yeah. She's hasn't been the best season hitting-wise, but she's been good in this tournament for sure. And bring on Happ, an interesting choice. We'll see if it pays dividends for Wartburg.
So now it's Callie Rinhimmer. We have not seen her all tournament. So far, the first baseman from Lebanon, Indiana, is hitting .471 this season. That doesn't even rank in the top 3, Carell, but a career .250, so definitely having a strong senior campaign.
Yeah, Reinheimer, she hasn't seen a lot of playing time yet, only 17 listed at bats. She makes contact here. This one's going to go all the way
out, and it is gone. So a tie game for the first at bat for their first baseman.
What a moment for Reinheimer. Yeah, we were just talking about it. She hasn't had a lot of opportunities to prove herself this season, but that's that experience showing through. First home run of the day.
And so already it's a 1-1 game early, and we had a pitching duel in that first one, and now we're already starting to kind of see the just quick runs, but there hasn't been anything else to follow. We'll see if this Tigers defense is able to with Brady.
Yeah, and there was no doubt about that home run from Reinheimer. Straight off her bat, it looked exceedingly dangerous. Now let's see how Frost recovers.
So Brady caught games 2 and 3 for the Tigers. She fouls this one back, but she was hitting in the 8-hole in both of those games. She hit 1 for 2 with 2 RBIs in game number 1, and so now she's the 5-hole designated player.
Yeah, she was absolutely dangerous in game 1 at the bottom of the order. It's a bold choice to have such a powerful hitter in the bottom of the order, but it worked very well. It definitely threw the opposition off guard.
So the count gets even at 1 apiece for Brady. She doesn't have, so the pressure is a little bit off because nobody's on base. However, now you got to follow a home run, and following a home run is never easy. She fouls that one back to make it 1-2.
Speaking of home runs, Paige Brady has 1 to her name this season.
Yeah, and if we want to go back, that was home run. As we'll wait for the pitch, times it up, knocks this one to center field, and it's going to be caught out there by Bradar for out number 1 in the inning. But going back to my previous thought, Callie Reinheimer, she just had 1 home run going into the game, so that's her 2nd on the season.
Yeah, big moment to find it. Still early in the game, not the most dramatic, and it's a solo shot, but nonetheless, it's put DePaul straight back in this game from the onset.
You are correct, but the only thing I'll counter with is it also puts DePaul back in the game, but DePaul they're 0-3 in this tournament.
Yep.
So tying things up is a momentum shift in itself for that dugout.
And we saw how much it meant to them that their second inning response in game 1 was the reason it was competitive until the end. Obviously a heartbreaking defeat in the end with the walk-off triple.
Lockridge didn't see time in the last game, or only saw pinch hitting time in the last game over the head of the left fielder for a stand-up double.
And she was involved fielding in the first inning, and now she gets an extra base hit, making use of the chance to start this game.
And a great hitter in that. She has the senior from Avon is a .333 hitter entering the tournament and a .271 career hitter, so definitely a little up this year as we already have a mound meeting here. Not with any coaches, but just some players having a chat, Carell.
Yeah, and it's the right decision with a runner now in scoring position and just 1 out, and you're bringing up a extremely dangerous hitter in Hines. Obviously, this is her 4th start of the season, and coming into today, she was batting .471.
A 1-for-3 day after an RBI double in the 2nd inning of game number 1, as she gets the opportunity here. Last game was just it was the 3rd game for DePaul, but it was only their 4th and 5th innings to score a run in, and this is inning Caden's not a math major. This is inning number 23 or 24, one of those two of them in the tournament. So this is inning 24 for them. So this is inning 24, and you've only scored runs in about 5 innings.
Yeah, and you mentioned that on day one, they're a team that can get hot at any given moment, but I think any team would trade consistency for that. And if they can find that in this game, get runs relatively evenly dispersed throughout the game. In game one, we saw the same thing, 3 runs all coming in 1 inning. So they feed on each other's momentum at the plate, and that's obviously a good thing. It just needs to happen more often for them.
So Frost, who she got some work in relief in game 1 yesterday, goes outside for the third ball of the count, excuse me.
And Lockridge is teasing that stolen base attempt time and time again. Something to keep an eye on, and with 1 out, wouldn't be the worst decision on her part.
And now Coach Jamie Mueller is going to go out there and have a conversation with her pitcher, middle of the count, after the catcher in Larson already had a chat with her to start this inning. Or start this batter, excuse me.
Yeah, it's something to think about now. Frost has the difficult situation of facing a dangerous batter down in the count and an equally dangerous runner on base. Lockridge has attempted 5 stolen bases this season and been successful on 3 occasions.
No, you are correct, and now Jamie Mueller is going to exit the mound. The circle. But, you've got a dangerous at-bat in Hines. When you're already up 3-1 in the count, that just makes the hitter, who is 471 entering the tournament, that much more dangerous.
Yeah, 100%, and Hines is aware of that. She knows Frost. I'm sure she's aware that Frost hasn't had that much game time so far this season. So it is an opening.
And a called strike, and I can hear the groans from the fans in the window in front of us.
And Frost looked disappointed Hines looked disappointed for a second, but then nodded her head, acknowledging that probably just clipped the bottom of the strike zone.
So Hines' full count pitch with 1 out and a runner on second. Hits it through the gap and on the right side of the infield, and going for home. And in time for Lockridge, safe and now the lead for the Tigers. It's their first lead of the day. Their first lead of the day being both games.
Yeah, it's huge for a team that's 0-3 so far in the tournament, despite having some close games. That's a brilliant start and really good base running from Lockridge. There was never any doubt about it. It's a very capable runner. Hines doing exactly what she was expected to do.
So now it's a 2-run second, and it's Romero Salas, the pitcher, who's a two-way player, gets the at-bat. She started this tournament at the 3-hole. Then she moved to the 5-hole for the last 2 games. Now all the way down to 8, Carell.
Yeah, and it's again, we've seen with both teams some shifts in the batting order. It's not any sort of comment about her quality that she's starting lower. Maybe it also has to do with the fact that she's also pitching in this game. So she didn't have a bad performance by any means batting in game 1-3.
Right, and I remember she went 0 for 3 or 0 for 4 against Illinois Wesleyan, so her bat coming into this one is about 1-7, her last 7 plate appearances. She fouls it back for strike 2.
Nonetheless, Illinois Wesleyan is the most sound defensive team in this tournament, and they only gave up 1 run in that game. So, I think we can cut Romero Salas some slack here. She'll be trying to get on base, keep this second inning going.
She'd love to extend the lead right here, right now, and if not, at least move a runner over with just 1 out. She tips that one. We do it all again.
And the Tigers are definitely fond of the second inning. All of their runs scored today. 3 in game 1 and 2 now, with perhaps more to come. All have come in the second inning of games 1 and 2, respectively.
Well, if that's the case, then they need to keep the train rolling so that is this going to be another foul ball? If that's not going to change and history is going to stay itself. Again, this game, history never stays this course. It goes its course. But if it does, that means the second inning needs to not stop for them.
Absolutely. Either that or Romero Salas, if she doesn't deliver at the plate, is going to have to in the circle. Yeah, you don't want to have to protect a 1-run lead for the rest of the game. Of course, highly unlikely that it'll be another occasion in which there's only scoring in the second inning from DePaul.
Well, for those of you who don't know, in the game of baseball and softball, when there's a doubleheader, the umpires switch spots for games 1 and 2. And so this was our field umpire in game 1, and fans on both sides have been making groans in this inning about his calls. That one goes off the wall. That was probably halfway up that wall, and it'll be stopping at third. But a two-bagger, it's a double, and gets the lead runner over to third for Romero Salas.
And Romero Salas did everything right, connecting on the even count pitch with 1 out, advancing the runner, but she'll be disappointed not to see that one leave the ballpark.
So now it is Mia Spidel, who we saw in action the first couple games, but we haven't seen her today. Spidel, though, I will note, she has a great glove out there in left. Do you think with all the pop-ups Romero Salas allows as a pitcher is what made Coach Sue Anderson put her out in left for this one?
Highly likely, yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's in every pitching decision who you're going to have out in the circle, you have to consider how they're compatible with the rest of the team. So that's a well-synchronized, it's a well-oiled machine. So it's an excellent choice.
The freshman's hitting .400 on the season, but not having her best tournament, as she's going to start 2-0, though. The freshman from, lost my spot. The freshman from South Elgin, Illinois.
Yeah, and Spidel, if she gets on base here, or rather if she walks, it'll be a bases-loaded situation for the last player in this order.
If the ball goes in play, I can only assume it won't be bases loaded. It's going to be caught in right field, but no, the runners go back. They went a couple steps down the line, but then they decided in Hines and in Romero Salas had to because of Hines, the lead runner, decided let's go back. So great play by the Wartburg defense, just not deep enough of a fly ball for Spidel.
Yeah, the Knights did very well to bullet that straight back into the infield, keep the runners at bay, and it gets an approving nod from Frost, who will be happy now to be pitching with 2 outs.
Here's Minobi. She grounded out to second her first time through the lineup. Now she's got 2 runners on and a 2-out situation. She is the leadoff hitter, so obviously started a clean slate when she had that ground out.
Let's see what Minobi can do now. RBI opportunity. She can get a base hit.
The 2-1, she times it up. And it's a called strike to even the count.
It's a brilliant pitch by Frost going outside.
Minobi's a sophomore from Fort Wayne, Indiana. She hit .349 entering the tournament. I know against Wesleyan she was 0-for-3 and just not. And then so her last time out 0-for-3. You want to just get back to the headspace of hitting .349, not hitting 0-for-3.
No, certainly, but I've said it before and I'll say it again. That was, first of all, a really, really impressive pitching performance from Maddie Poole of Illinois Wesleyan, and then Mallory Holland in relief. Likely going to see one or both of them later on in the day. Contact here.
Popped up all the way over on another. It looks like I didn't even realize until the catch. We had a center fielder in Bradar back in. We saw that in game 1, but they're going to do that shift, I guess, again against Minobi.
And it works out. In the end, DePauw come away with 2 runs, 2 important runs, but Wartburg still very much in this game.
Well, Kirill, if this is how the same pace happened as game 1, that means we're going to be sitting at 1-2 for a score for a while, or at the very least, if the same pace occurs, a 2-run only game for the Tigers. But I mean, I would be surprised if we saw that happen again, where they just score only in the second inning.
It's already looking like a very different game from the first one. We're seeing less massive runs at the plate, like a great streak from the batting order. Instead, more evenly dispersed, both pitchers not flawless but solid. So I think we could see even scoring throughout the 7 innings in this game as compared to the first one. Of course, never know. I could be biting my words.
So now up to the plate is the 9-hole and Addie Wells. Wells, the last batter who has not seen action. And look at this. I think we're going to be getting our third game starting on time, if not early, as Illinois Wesleyan is going to they're going to take a little bit of the field away from the lacrosse practice and go start warming up on Tucci Stadium next door.
Yeah, stay tuned to see the hosts in action, the only unbeaten team left in this tournament. They'll be looking to make it a perfect 4 out of 4 against Lake Forest, who notched 1 win yesterday.
Well, Wells had 2 strikeouts and a double for a 1-3 performance in game number 1 today. Wells would like to just get another one. Again, 359 hitter to enter the tournament. That was the second best on the team. She really serves as the secondary leadoff. She led the team in extra base hits entering the tournament. The sophomore from Waterloo, Iowa, fouls away the first pitch.
Yeah, you mentioned her extra base hits. She has 4 of them, plus a home run, so she can produce something for sure. Well, only a home run would bring in a run, unfortunately for her, as she is the first batter in this inning.
8 RBIs, 6 walks entering the tournament. We're both third on the team, so she's got the plate discipline as well as that bat that's going to bring in runners and get herself on the base paths. It's what you want from your 9-hole secondary leadoff type-esque spot for Jamie Mueller.
Yeah, good decision to keep her low in the order. Crafts a big balance for Wartburg.
So a 2-1 count now for Wells. Her goal here is just to start the inning off strong before you get back to the top of the order. Right after her, she bunts down, fielded by Romero Salas, and it's safe. She runs it out, an infield hit for Addie Wells, the sophomore.
You see the emotion pouring out of her, and we were just discussing her maturity at the plate. She plays with the experience and capability of someone older than a sophomore. She's more of a senior presence in the team despite her young age, and you saw that perfectly placed bunt, and she took off her first. When she made it just in time, a raucous celebration from both her and her dugout.
Well, you saw it at the corner of your screen there before, and the emotion, and almost checked there by Smith, but the emotion once she ran that out. She's trying to pump up her team and get the Knights. The Knights weren't able to respond from the second inning rally of DePaul until the 7th inning. She's wanting them to respond right now, not just because of her hit, but because of her emotion.
And driving this team, motivating them.
She's going to steal, and she broke very late, and so she's going to get caught stealing for out 1.
And that's life. There you go. She displays her experience and her maturity at the plate, and then a mistimed run and a poor decision.
Aaron Smith, the freshman catcher from Richmond, Texas, has only played in the field all season. If she plays, it's in the flex spot. We saw her once yesterday gunning down players, and today she's gunning them down again.
Yeah, it was fantastically read.
So 1-1 pitch, hit deep, and only if she didn't go steal, it would be the lead. But for now, Sydney Fellows ties it up.
Yeah, and they'll be ruling that stolen base attempt. Nonetheless, this ties the game. And again, Sydney Fellows is on a heater. She ended game 1 in wonderful fashion, and she's kept that up early here.
She was able to get the hit to start the bottom of the 7th and get on base and be the winning run. Now Fellows telling the one who had the walk-off and Hassel what she saw before Hassel steps into the box herself. But yeah, Addie Wells now is kicking herself in that dugout. If only she didn't steal, or if only she didn't go late and got there successfully, right now she would be runner number 3 in the lead.
All will be forgotten if Hassel can replicate this.
Indeed, Hassel got on base with a fielder's choice. She puts one down. Romero Salas this time does get the out at first off the blooper, so it's number 2 for this Tiger defense.
Yeah, Hassel imitated Wells by choosing to show the bunt and went for it, and it nearly worked out this time, however. DePaul with the more favorable outcome, and we are perfectly balanced. 2-2 game. 4-4 in hits and 1-1 in errors.
Here's the center fielder in Carly Bradar. She singled and got a stolen base her first time up as she looks at strike 1. And she had the RBI as well. I completely forgot to mention that. So an RBI, a single, a stolen base. She's already having a great game 2 after going 2 for 3 in game 1.
Absolutely. I mean, and they're well aware how dangerous she is. This one's going back.
And almost at the warning track, but caught nonetheless out in center. All right, Kirill, we're back to tie. Do you think we're going to stay tied until the 7th inning again?
Absolutely not. Like I'm saying, this seems like a much more balanced game. Both have been very entertaining. The first one, a very fun pitcher's duel. This one, we've already had 2 home runs, 2 players going long. And Wartburg will rue the opportunity to go up here, but nonetheless, it's very important for them to be back on level terms.
And so some ice on the shoulder there on your screen for Lullen. She threw all 7 in game number 1. I don't expect to see her again because, again, softball, you can keep going, but she's already played in game 1 as well as in game 2. As we do have a new pitcher, despite me saying that it is not in Lullen. However, the Wartburg Knights are going to bring, I think that's 28. It is 28, so it is Haley Smith. Yep, I am correct. It is Haley Smith. So Smith's, and this is her first appearance in the tournament. The sophomore from North Liberty, Iowa, did not play last season as a freshman, but in her 1 appearance this year, she threw an inning and a third, allowing 3 hits with no strikeouts, but accumulating a 10.5 ERA. You're going to get a high ERA if you only pitch 1 inning and allow some runs, but it's a quick day for Frost.
Yeah, we can't read too much into the statistics as far as Smith is concerned, but that'll be disappointing for Frost. It really didn't get out of hand for her at all. Not the best start. She wasn't looking great, but still, I expected to see her at least for another inning or 2. Nonetheless, we'll see how long Smith lasts. As you mentioned, her first outing wasn't that long at all. Will she make it to the rest of the game, or is this just a temporary switch? Will they have someone else in to close out the game?
Well, Minobi is the only one that gets to see Smith, only gets to see Frost twice, as now it will be this 2-3-4 in the lineup for the Tigers.
Yeah, and the first 2 batters here for DePaul weren't able to manage anything in their first at-bats facing Frost. We'll see, maybe Smith's pitching style suits them better.
Riley Hem 0 for 1 in that first inning, and she got caught up at second on the double play by Metz. The last time we saw Metz in the field, it'll be interesting to see. Her spot is up third next inning if she trots out there, or if her day is actually complete. As that one's a little bit outside, evening the count.
Yeah, opening now for Haley Smith. She's a sophomore from North Liberty, Iowa. It's a big chance for her to prove herself after a unsuccessful first outing.
As a show to bunt there, but pulls back and collects ball 2. Heim, the infielder, the senior from Indianapolis, Indiana. She is a switch hitter. And hits this one hard, but it goes foul.
Yeah, just out of the reach of Addie Wells, who has made some flashy plays so far today, although she was also responsible for an error early on in Game 2 here.
Well, entering the tournament, she had a season 231 and a career 277 batting average, so it's something that she's definitely going to try and replicate what she's done in the past, not so much what she's done this season. She would like to get that number back up higher, but nonetheless, she's a confident player, especially in the 2-hole and having a great tournament. Full count now for Heim after looking at that one. So this is as one of my friends at Bradley calls it, one of my co-broadcasters there, something's going to happen pitch. And something happened, and that's ball 4.
Yeah, that's too bad for Smith. Would have been a big confidence booster in her first at-bat of the weekend, or her first appearance in the circle this weekend for her to record a full count strikeout, but that didn't come true.
So now it is Ella Kenster. Kenster had a line out to second her first time in the lineup. That one tipped back and foul for strike one on the bunt. Kinster in right field for this game. She was out in center for the first one. Again, showing you just wanting to have three strong outfielders with Romero Salas out there in the circle. This bunt goes down, and she is out. Runner tries to take third and gets there successfully. So a sack bunt for Kinster, but runner now just one bag away from scoring.
Yeah, Kinster just a fraction of a second too late, but she did her job. She was aware with a bunt rarely is the goal necessarily to reach base. Runner in a dangerous position now.
Yeah, she's got some speed, so it's not like you can't doubt it. And I don't think I noticed a shoulder brace on the hitter in Callie Reinheimer when she hit her home run in the second inning, her first appearance, as that one is a ball. But, you know, Reinheimer's home run started the offense for the Tigers.
Yeah, Smith in the circle will be disappointed to be facing Reinheimer this early in her appearance, although it was inevitable.
And again, it's a new pitcher in the matchup, and this one's going to be popped. It's not going to go out of the park, but it is caught. It was a little bit of a second effort catch, and the throw in time! A perfect money throw by Bradar. She continues to make immaculate plays on defense.
Absolutely spectacular. No words for Carly Bradar. A brilliant play, a double play, incredible awareness, and she threw that literally pinpoint to the catcher.
I mean, that hit, I mean, if, let's say, if there was an extra step or two, all right, you threw it in front of the plate. But that was a perfect leading tag that the Knights were able to put thanks to the magnificent throw there by Bradar.
Larson did very well to get down in time to make the tag. Reinheimer will be so disappointed. She thought she had a second RBI. I think we all did. But not if Carly Bradar has anything to say about it. What a day it's been for her. What a weekend it's been for her.
Well, the sophomore from Eldridge, Iowa, has made at least us here in Bloomington know her name across this tournament. We keep having to say it because she keeps being incredible.
Yeah, I mean, just hats off for that. Nothing you can say about that. And even DePaul, they did everything right. I mean, Reinheimer got that ball into the outfield, which is what you want to do when you have a runner on third and just one out. Can't blame the base runner for going for it. It seemed like a surefire run, but Bradar stops them in their tracks.
So now it's Wabenge, after all that commotion, to start the inning against Romero Salas. I mean, we really thought we were about to see run number 3 for the Tigers in this ballgame and the tie get broken. Now it's Wabenge's turn to try and get a runner on base, herself on base, or run in with a homer just to get the offense started for her.
Yeah, and I think no one will be happier
to pop up into right. Last time she went there, and it was to the warning track, but she flew out to right once more.
No one will be happier about that Bradar play to wrap up the third inning than Haley Smith, kind of thrust into the deep end, thrown into pitch. Already tie game. You know, she hasn't had a lot of experience this season, a lot of time in the circle, and she got out of it unscathed thanks to Carly Bradar. So it'll be interesting to see what that does for Smith's confidence going forward.
We've already had 2 home runs this game, and the wind is picking up, and it's going to the right and out, a formation we have not seen yet in this tournament. But you're right. I mean, when you're Haley Smith, you go out there and you immediately get when you go out there and you immediately have a runner in scoring position, that's a fly out again to right against Mulder. 2 catches now out there for Kinster to start this inning off. But when you go out and you have to sub in early in the third inning, I don't think she expected to be in the third, and then getting a runner on scoring position also early. It's a very hard position to be in, and it's definitely a confidence booster to know your defense is going to make plays like that.
Yeah, and even so, I mean, we'd be amiss to say that she did a poor job. She did a fine job with it, forcing Reinheimer into a pop fly into center field after having homered last time. So that's an accomplishment for sure, but with a runner on third, it could have been a sac fly. Thankfully.
This one was bunted, and it went fair, but then it went off of Hap's body and into foul territory to make the count even at 1. Before I let you go, Kirill, we have been wondering what is going on with Riley Metz, one of the heroes of this tournament. She popped out to left after having the double play, and something had to have happened because the Wesleyan trainer went over there in the half inning, and Hap, who's only had a few plate appearances in her season, is taking her spot full time. The junior from Durant, Iowa, is hitting .429, but not the hot-hitting Mets of this tournament.
Yeah, she's also been thrown into the fire here. Tense game to have to make an appearance off the bench, and
she wanted to swing, but instead she held back. Or sorry, she wanted to bunt, but it was strike 3, so she didn't want to and pulled back, and then that caused the looking K. We go into the bottom of the 4th with a tied 2-2 game. Get a quick word here from our sponsors here on iwsports.com.
When competition for the best jobs is fierce, how do you set yourself apart? Experience? An education? Yes, but not just any education. At Illinois Wesleyan, we prepare graduates who break through the noise, who run the boardroom, the classroom, the lab, the stage. The best college for jobs in Illinois is right in your own backyard. Reach further, dream bigger, and break through at Illinois Wesleyan University.
Welcome back here in the bottom of the 4th. I'm Caden Sexton. Next to me, Kirill Anatazov. Kirill, we've seen a similar-esque but also different game than we did previously, and I think one of the biggest changes was that we got a new pitcher. We had the same 2 go all 7 in Game 1. Now we've got Haley Smith's second inning of work.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how she recovers from a rocky start that ended with that show-stopping play from Bredar. But since we're talking about pitchers, it was a quick inning, so we didn't get a chance to comment on just how well Romero Salas did in the top of this inning. Doing very well to retire 3 batters, no problem. After a disappointing finish to the attacking half of the previous inning for DePaul, she did very well to bring it back.
Now it is the sophomores' turn to try and get the offense moving. And Paige Brady, hey, she hits this one, it's a pop-up, it's going out to center, and it's called with ease by Bredar for out number 1.
Yeah, Bredar's been very active in the outfield so far. I don't think she'll be upset with it. We've seen some great work from her.
She's been active in the outfield as well as in the infield, playing as the 5th infielder, the 3rd one on the left side, when a lefty is up for this team. It's something that we haven't seen in the first 2 games by the Wartburg defense, but they've done it for Minobi, they've done it for Cox, who we aren't seeing in this one. Again, we've been talking about how there's always that one powerful hitter that's on the bench for Coach Sue Anderson.
Yeah, bold technique, a good one. Didn't quite work out in Game 1.
Well, they are 0-3, so not. I mean, it's allowed for some strong at bats, and it's also allowed for some rest and to get some new looks. This isn't conference play, so these games matter, but they more matter in the sense of finding your rhythm and finding who you want versus needing to win and win now. That's when conference starts. Again, this is not. I don't want to say it's preseason, but this tournament you can look at as like the prelude to the regular season. I'm not going to call it preseason, but we'll call it the prelude regular season.
No, you're completely right, and I think DePaul, anyone who's watched them this weekend can say that if they go home 0-4, it's harsh. They've had some really fine moments. So as much as they'd like to wrap this up with a victory, they have to look at the positives and move on to the most important part of the season, which is, of course, conference play.
So it's a 2-2 count and a 2-2 game to the second baseman. There's a lot of twos for you in Lockridge as she takes that one away for ball 3. I actually just received a text asking about a Bradley broadcast from my Bradley broadcasting friend Owen Dimple, who told me a story during a baseball game one time. His grandmother always went with him to the Brewer games, and on full counts, she'd get on the edge of her seat and say, "Owen, it's a something's going to happen pitch." And that something that's going to happen is a swinging strikeout against Lockridge.
Haley Smith delivering. And if I'm not mistaken, she wraps up this inning. It'll officially be her longest pitching outing of the season.
It already is her longest pitching outing this season because she entered with 1.1 innings pitched. This is now 1.2 innings pitched.
Well, good for her. She's done a fine job with it, with a little help from Berdar in the last inning.
That one's a little bit high, so it'll be called ball 1 on Hines. Hines 1 for 1 today with a RBI single in the second that knocked in the second run of this game for the Tigers.
You'll recall that was off the starting pitcher Frost, so this is the first matchup between Smith.
And that's the benefit of being able to put a new pitcher in is, yes, the pitcher has to find rhythm themselves, but all the rhythm that the hitters got their first time through the lineup is decimated.
Exactly, and it's essentially a new game for the batters. Now, Hines is a very capable batter who can certainly adjust, but with 2 outs and nobody on, Smith will feel favored in this situation.
So a 2-1 count for Hines. The freshman from Melrose Park is knocking this one to center, but Brajar's fantastic glove snags another. We go into the top of the 5th inning, tied at 2 here in Bloomington. You're watching IWSports.com.
Why is Illinois Wesleyan the #1 school in Illinois for jobs? Maybe it's because we're the AND University. That's right, A-N-D. And here you can explore the arts and study in a pre-professional program, double major, and play a sport, do an internship, and study abroad. Your opportunities are endless. Set yourself apart with a degree from Illinois Wesleyan.
It's the second inning of work the second inning of work. Wow, I'm thinking Haley Smith's back out there again. It's Romero Salas' 5th inning of work. She threw all 7 in last night's loss to Illinois Wesleyan. She's been a designated player in the 2 games she didn't pitch in, and besides, she's gotten a run allowed in the 3rd and a run allowed in the 1st, so if the odd inning runs continue, she's got one coming right now.
Well, with how she pitched the last inning, I would expect her to get through this inning with no problems. 3 up, 3 down for her last time out. She really seems to have settled in to her role. And she's been so active on both sides of the ball, on offense, on defense. We've seen a lot of her this weekend. She's done a fine job at it. She'll want to keep this a tie game and bring it back to offense.
So now it's Stephanie Kiefer, the 148 hitter from Phoenix, Arizona. She steps into the plate after popping out to right her first at-bat, but going back to Alex Salas, the junior from the Philippines, posting before the tournament a 4.32 season ERA and a 3.37 career ERA. With 147 strikeouts entering the tournament, it earned her last year's Conference Pitcher of the Year nomination and award.
Yeah, she's a brilliant pitcher and equally capable as a batter. Now she's in an interesting position where she would be first up in the bottom of this inning. So in this inning, she'll have work to do, both sides of the ball. Interesting to think for a two-way player whether that's a consideration when she's out there in the circle.
Sun is shining bright, which is a beautiful scene compared to yesterday because, I mean, after the 10 o'clock Wesleyan-Wartburg game was done, there was just cloud coverage and rain the whole rest of the afternoon and evening. It was over a 12-hour day for our production crew, but nonetheless, we're excited to be back out here for more, as this one's going to be popped into right field, and it's a catch. That time made out in right by Kinster for out number 1. That's the second straight at-bat for Kiefer that she flew out into right field.
Kensher does well to track that one down. Not a difficult catch, but she did have to position herself well for it. And that'll bring up Larson, the catcher.
So Larson, she's Alexis Larson, the junior from Jessup, Iowa, a 250 career. I'm sorry, 250 this season, 292 career batting average. She is 0 for 1 today with a strikeout.
5 hits from 21 official at-bats this season. She's also been responsible for 2 RBI and scored 3 runs herself.
Swings through that one for strike 1.
It's been such an even game, such a tense affair. The first one was too, but there was a little more disarray in that first game, whereas here it's been...
And I think part of the increased tenseness, I'll tell you after the Larson bunt, Romero Salas gets it over again. So the first one was able to get on for a hit. Nobody else from the Knights has been able to do that against the pitcher.
Yeah, it's been Romero Salas looking really composed right now. She's really settled into this game, and she does have a difficult feat ahead of her now, trying to retire Wells.
Yeah, Wells has had a great day, and it's capped off in this game with a 1-for-1 in our first plate appearance of a single in the third. But as I was saying, I think the increase in the tenseness has to do with the Knights are up 2-1. I mean, they'd prefer not to go home 2-2. They'd prefer to go home 3-1 in the tournament. But if you're DePauw and you fall in this game, you come out to Bloomington to lose 4 games.
Yeah, and especially today, you look at it, the first game, we had a walk-off triple. How often you're going to be on the receiving end of one of those. And now this game shaping up to be equally close, if not even more tense, like you mentioned. And in that situation, losing both ends of a doubleheader in this fashion would be heartbreaking because they haven't necessarily been the worst team.
No, they haven't been. They've kept every game close. I mean, besides, honestly, in this tournament, the furthest apart score was Illinois Wesleyan versus Wartburg. DePauw kept it close against the Titans yesterday, and against Lake Forest, it was, again, another close game, but they weren't a part of that one. So all the games in this tournament have not been blowouts, and DePauw has been a part of 3 of the closest games.
Yeah, and it's a consideration. They're desperate to finish this with a win. Even 1-3 is a disappointment given how close they came. But, again, it's not about record. Still, mentally, it means so much to go away with a win.
You know it does for the athletes who just want to go out there and be competitors because, you know, when you ask an athlete who really wants to compete at the collegiate level, they just want to win. They just want to go out there, have fun. Don't get me wrong, they want to have fun, but they also just want to compete. And they don't feel like they're competing as well and as at the same level if they aren't getting a win in every 4 games. That one fouled away to stay alive, the 2-2 pitch for Wells.
And at the end of the season for the Tigers, they're hovering around the 500 mark in terms of record. If their win-loss has a negative balance, they'll look back at this tournament and think there were a good 3 games here that could have been tipped in our favor. And that'll be disappointing to be the difference between a winning and a losing record. That being said, they are far from out here.
And a swinging strikeout there for Romero Salas. So they are making sure they go home in this tournament with a win, and Salas is doing so as she gets the K. And we'll start the bottom of the 5th when we return from this at the plate. You're watching IWSports.com.
I can see it now. The smell of the grass on the quad. That sense of excitement in the air each fall. It feels like yesterday. While I'm no longer 18, I know there are students out there ready for an opportunity like I had. For the space to discover passions, bond over dreams, and make lifelong friends. Breakthrough at Illinois Wesleyan University.
Well, it's Haley Smith's 3rd inning of work, so she will pass Frost for the team high, but that doesn't matter unless if she's able to hold on to the lead. Hold on to the tie. They don't want to give up the lead here. They won the first game in walk-off fashion. Their offense has 2 innings to get the lead, but they're going to have to come from behind if they're not able to continue to hold, if Smith is not able to continue to hold them off.
The beautiful thing for softball purists is that this game could come down to a walk-off or at least some 7th inning drama, if not extra inning drama, just like that first one did.
Romero Salas looks at strike number 1.
Yeah, Romero Salas has been brilliant, especially over the last 2 innings. Hasn't allowed a runner on base. She's retired the last 6 batters she's faced.
Mark that 8 batters she's faced retired,
including the 2 previous ones. Yes, my mistake.
Oh, you're all good because if you bleed back into the 3rd inning, she allowed a run and 3 hits, but 2 consecutive outs. So she'll go into the top of the 6th with Fellows, who homered off her, the last person to not be retired. Will be interesting to see if she does face Fellows again. She threw all 7 yesterday, but with it being the 3rd time through the lineup, a batter who knows her already, we'll have to see what she does. But nonetheless, she's 1 for 1 at the plate, and that's what we're worried about right now. She doubled in the 2nd. And a called strike evens the count at 2 apiece.
And if we do see that matchup between Romero Salas and Fellows again, I have a feeling that could be decisive in this game. What happens there could tip the scales in the favor of one team. In the meantime, Romero Salas doing her very best to get on base.
That one's out of the box, so we'll have a full count pitch in a moment. But yeah, I mean, Fellows the last person to score a run, and it was a solo shot. So I can only presume that that matchup is not going to be one that Coach Anderson wants to take a chance on. But we shall wait and see if she has the confidence in her pitcher who's retired the last 8 and just fouled off that full count pitch.
Yeah, it's a difficult decision because on the one hand you have the hitter who's caused you the most problems, but on the other hand you have a pitcher who for the last 20 or so minutes has been lights out, phenomenal. So will be an interesting coaching decision.
Full count, and it'll be a called ball 4. So the first base runner of the inning. After this one, we will have a doubleheader, games 7 and 8 of the tournament, between the host team, Illinois Wesleyan University Titans, as well as the Lake Forest Foresters, the final 2 teams who haven't met in this tournament. So don't go anywhere on IW Sports after this one, because we're hoping to start game 7 of the tournament, game 3 of the day, as soon as we can. And that one's going to be a bunt very quickly. It's all over to first, and it's out on Spadal, but advances Romero Salas to second.
Yeah, I think that's exactly what Spidell wanted. That's what she was instructed to do. She wants to move a runner to second with 1 out left, and a pitcher who hasn't played this much at any point in the season, most of her time. And speaking of which, we do have a mound visit here.
And it is going to be a pitching change. I think Avery Mull might be getting her first reps of the day. She pitched in both the first and the second game earlier, so Smith gets 3+ inning, almost a third of an inning of work. She gets she's only going to get credited for 2 on the box score, but we do know, because we are here and watching live, she did she does get a 0.1 credited, so she does have more than Frost, but nonetheless, Avery Mule, who we've already seen twice, the junior from Marshalltown, Iowa, is up to the circle.
Yeah, and Haley Smith, I mean, all things considered, it's a great performance. It's going to bring down that ERA that we were talking about that's been skewed by 1 poor inning previously. She didn't give up a hit in 2 1/3 innings. Did give up two walks, but also registered a strikeout. So altogether, a very solid relief performance for her, but I think it's the right choice to bring in an experienced junior in Avery Mule.
Especially when you've got the top of the lineup back up, so you are not, I mean, Minobi has not faced, it is interesting because Minobi did not face Smith, because the last batter Frost had was Minobi, so you are not even a full-time through the order for Haley Smith.
And it is, the one thing I will say is interesting, obviously the decision was made because of the runner in scoring position, but Minobi's 0 for 2. If there's one batter you'd trust Smith to face, even as she is maybe tiring or her time has come, it would be Minobi.
As a lot of thoughts going through Minobi's head there. Bunt, swing, hold, and hold was the final one, and so she did for ball 1. But I mean, if you're Minobi, it's no credit to the sophomore. It's no credit to Minobi, but let's be real. Minobi 0 for 4 yesterday. Didn't have a great first day game. There's a reason she didn't play in game 1, just to give her a mental break as she fouled that one to even the count. And 0 for 2 today with a ground out and a pop out.
Yeah, it will be interesting to see what she can make of this situation, even count here.
I mean, Libby Minobi as a sophomore is 350 entering the tournament, 325 in her career, but the Fort Wayne, Indiana native probably just got the day off to get her mental fortitude back. That one's outside. Again, 0 for 2 today, but the only batter Haley Smith didn't see. I'm surprised this one, especially with how she's performed today, wasn't her last, as you said, because then you go into Heim, and I mean, now Minobi would have to be somebody who you've seen twice. It's going to be a grounder to second, and it's an easy play for Hap over there at second for out number 2. But the runner does advance, so in an interesting spot, you've now got runners just at third with 2 outs. So you move them over, but Heim's got no room for error.
Yeah, this adds to the tension, certainly. And with a runner on third, 2 outs, both teams will feel like they have the edge. And pivotal moment in this game.
Down the middle, called strike 1 on Heim. She's been caught in 2 double plays today. She got caught in Riley Metz's double play over at second, and Badar gunned her down when she tried to advance to home in the 3rd inning. Got on in the first with an error, in the second with a walk.
Well, in the case of that first double play, maybe part of the blame is on her. But as far as the fantastic move by Bradar is concerned, really nothing she could have done. It was the right choice to run. I think any coach would have instructed her to do so. So just curious to see if she's put that out of her mind. Swings at that one and misses.
Yeah, swings through strike 2 there, so she's got 2 outs. We'll see if she put that out of her mind with the 1-2 count here. Nonetheless, she's gotten on base twice, but not with a hit. And she can get on with a walk, but it's going to be difficult for her to pull that off at the 1-2 count. And the Wartburg Knight fans in jaw-dropping fashion sighs after that pitch.
Yeah, just judged to have been a little outside.
So the umpire won't ring Heim up for now. And Avery Mole will get the 2-2 opportunity. And that one a little bit away, and so quickly a full count and an extra opportunity for Heim to get on base other than her bat.
Larson doing well to keep that ball after it slipped from her grasp for a couple seconds. Doesn't want any catastrophical events this late in the game. Full count pitch coming.
The 3-2, and it's way low and inside, so I said it would be difficult to work the walk, but after a sequence of events, it is a walk, and you've brought up the 3-hole in Ella Kenster.
Yeah, it'll be a good opening for Kenster now. She has runners on the corners, and we'll see a discussion at the mound.
Yeah, Jamie Mueller walking out there, the head coach. If normally you'd bring a pitching coach out there a lot, but she's brought her clipboard and really wants to work through the situation and what she wants to do, especially when you got Ella Kinster, who's a very prolific hitter.
Absolutely.
For DePaul. I mean, she came into the tournament second in average, doubles, and RBIs with 409, 3, and 12. Most home runs with 3 and most walks with 5. Now, she's not had the best tournament to counteract that. Today especially, she's 0 for 2 with a sac, bunt, ground ball in the 3rd and a line out to second in the 1st.
She was also 0 for 3 in Game 1. All of that collectively has brought her average down to 380 for the season. But still, like we mentioned, Fellows, for example, was struggling for the Knights and found her best in the most crucial moment. So when you have a player like Kenster, you're still scared to face her in this situation with runners on the corners. You have 2 runners on in a tie game in the 5th inning. So Kenster, she's aware that this is the perfect time for it to finally click as far as her weekend performance is concerned.
Again, 0 for 2 today, and she swings way late on that one, but The pitch runner and Romero Salas tries to take home and unsuccessful. She gets caught stealing. I mean, that was a crazy sequence of events. You attempted the steal for Heim to get Romero Salas to go home. A play clearly drawn up by Sue Anderson and well thought of on that first pitch. So the hitter in Kunster swings a mile late, but that was just a distraction, and it throws everybody off, but not the Knight defense.
I can't help but appreciate the thought from the Tigers, and it just makes it all the more impressive that the Knights read that play that well. I mean, that was a freak swing, extremely confusing, and that's the exact point. But Wartburg somehow knew exactly what to expect, and I don't know how you anticipate a play like that, but they did, and they did it so well. The fielding has been impeccable from the Knights.
Well, when you've got when you have runners on the corners, you have to anticipate a stolen base is going to bring that runner at third to at least attempt home. And again, it's an interesting call. It's a gutsy call to pull that off, but I mean, Romero Salas knew that was the play, and she was breaking the second the ball left the hands of Larson.
And it does seem like she's going to be the one to face a dangerous part of this Wartburg order.
So it's the top of the lineup for the Knights. It's Fellows, Hassel, and Bradar, and Jamie Mueller hyping up her fifth year, who has homered in her last at bat. No runs have crossed the plate since.
Yep, we mentioned it in the last inning, this is the at bat that could define this game, especially considering how Romero Salas' inning ended on the offensive end just now. We were talking about how her pitching affects her batting mentally, but now we have a reverse situation where she just got tagged out at home.
We will have to see how the reverse does, especially when she's facing a hitter who is 2 for 2 in this game against her, and on the day has gotten a hit in her last 3 at-bats.
Yeah, Fellows is getting hot in the most crucial time of this tournament. Struggled yesterday, struggled to start today. Got her first hit at the very end of game 1.
She bunts, and it'll be picked up by the catcher. Throw down to first, and an out. Umpire debated it, but decided to go with the out call.
Romero Salas will be so thrilled with that pitch, and she'll be especially thrilled with how her teammates handled that situation. Rushing in, they knew to anticipate the bunt, and she comes away without any problems off of what could have been a very dangerous at-bat.
So here's Hassel now. She's 0 for 2 today after getting on first with a fielder's choice in the first inning.
And she did score the 1 run.
Yeah, she scored that run in the first after getting on, thanks to the fielder's choice. So it's a 1-0 count for her. She grounded out to the pitcher in a similar fashion as Fellows just did. And her last at-bat, she fouls that one back to even the count.
Hassel's someone you don't want to put on base at any cost because she's such an effective base runner. She already has a stolen base in this game. So DePaul will know all about stolen bases we just saw. A failed attempt at stealing home from Romero Salas.
Well, good news is, unless things get really out of hand, you're not going to see sophomore Reagan Hassel from LeClaire in Iowa in the 7th inning because... and thankfully, the reason for that for the Tigers is she's who hit the walk-off triple in game 1.
You don't want to give her an opportunity to do the same.
She hits this one right back to the pitcher the same way she ended her last at-bat. She gets the second out of the inning.
Well, we had some doubts. You mentioned that maybe you anticipated Romero Salas being subject to a pitching change. Instead, she's come out here after an absolute doozy of a 5th inning. Did very well pitching-wise, got on base hitting-wise, but then failed to steal home. She's completely unfazed. She's the ultimate professional. She's handling it so well. She's been very, very dangerous in the circle over the last few innings.
Bradar puts one down the line, but it's going to go into the green space, and green is well past the foul line here in our turf infield. So it'll be strike 1.
Romero Salas has worked her way through the entire order and some change. That's 10 straight retired.
You are correct, and Bradar's 1 for 2 on the day with an RBI single in the first to score the opening run in this ball game. as that's the second strike on her. So now already 2 outs in this inning's got to work the 0-2.
Let's see if Bredar can produce the same magic at the plate that she did earlier in this game, fielding-wise.
And she looks at strike 3. She thought that was a little bit out, but not does not Salas, and the umpire disagrees. We will go into the bottom of the 6th with a tie 2-2 game, and the 3-4-5 up for the Tigers. You're watching IWSports.com.
When competition for the best jobs is fierce, how do you set yourself apart? Experience? An education? Yes, but not just any education. At Illinois Wesleyan, we prepare graduates who break through the noise, who run the boardroom, the classroom, the lab, the stage. The best college for jobs in Illinois is right in your own backyard. Reach further, dream bigger, and break through at Illinois Wesleyan University.
Welcome back to Bloomington. I'm Caden Sexton. Alongside me is Kirill and Atazov. Unless the Tigers or the Wartburg, or unless the Tigers right here have a run scored, we've got an inning and a half left. If they score a run here, we've just got 6 outs, possibly, unless the Knights respond, left in this ball game. But back-to-back, unlike your prediction, back-to-back close, tight-knit games here today.
Yeah, it seemed early on, it seemed like we were going to have scoring throughout the game. Instead, we didn't see any. We saw one multiple-run inning, the bottom of the 2nd from DePaul. Other than that, it's been a very strong defensive performance, and compared to yesterday, I think both teams will be really satisfied with their pitching and with their fielding. Only 1 error apiece in this game. Both teams have struggled with fielding errors previously, and 4 hits given up by the respective pitching teams.
And Kunitzer, who gets the extra at-bat thanks to the caught stealing, gets a single and starts things early for the Tigers.
Yeah, Kenster, this is the sort of tone you want to set, especially on a pitcher who's still settling into the game in Muhl. Now they've got Reinheimer, who, although on her last at-bat, ended up batting into that magnificent play from Bredar. She also has a home run today. So it's been a mixed bag for her today.
Well, in her first appearance in the tournament, she put down bunt. That's really just a sacrifice to move the runner over. I mean, when you've got a power hitter up, putting them down there to bunt is really just saying we need Kunster to get the run.
Yeah, and it's something I would expect if this was the 7th inning. I am a little surprised to see it in the 6th. Reinheimer, at the end of the day, she could advance the runner with a sac fly too.
And that was a little bit of an awkward one. I don't think she was happy with her coach there. She was supposed to show bunt and then swing, and she wasn't able to get her bat all the way back to where she wanted it. Had some words, but her coach says, it's okay, take a deep breath. It's 0-2 anyway, so you're going to rip it no matter what.
Yeah, let's see what she does now.
She's put the ball in play twice. Can she do it a 3rd time? She does, but it's foul. So we move on and do it again. Runner on first. 0-2 count here in Inspiration Field. It's a 2-2 tie game in the bottom of the 6th. We saw a walk-off win for the Knights in the first game of today's 4-game slate. And it'll be interesting to see what the Tigers do here if they're able to get their first win of the tournament, or if they go home 0-4. It's a grounder. It's fielded awkwardly by Wells, but across the diamond for out number 1. So the runner advances, but an out early for the Knights.
Well, you know, I think the Wartburg faithful had a little bit of a heart attack there because Wells was responsible for a similar error earlier on in the game, and it looked like a difficult one to field, but she scooped it up and absolutely bulleted it to first.
Yeah, she really scooped that one up, like you said, after it had already been caught before making the transition into her hand. And so now with the runner in scoring position, it's Paige Brady. She's 0 for 2 today with 2 flyouts to center, but she got moved up in the order and got the designated player spot after the prolific hitting she had as a pinch hitter in Game 1 and as the Game 2 and 3 catcher.
She knocked in 2 runs in Game 1 of this doubleheader. And now with the runner in scoring position, this is exactly who we want at the plate.
The 0-1, and that one in the dirt, bouncing, and it's going to get the runner to move over to third. She is safe. The Knights try and challenge it with the tag, but A stolen base for Kunster gets the leading run one more bag closer.
Kunster now so close. She can smell the go-ahead run. And for Brady, this is an ideal situation. That one's low and inside.
So a 2-1 count. Most balls that she has seen so far. She's only seen, this is our fifth pitch of the at-bat. She hadn't seen more. That one is a called strike, so the count even 2 apiece with that great pitch from Mull.
Yeah, that's exactly what you want to do on Brady, who's one of 4 players in the double digits as far as RBI this season is concerned. With the 2 she had in Game 1 of this doubleheader, she's up to 12 for the season.
A Marshall, Iowa native grounds it, checked over by Wells, but easily decides to make the throw over to first, and that's out number 2. And again, you're now in critical time for the Tigers.
Yeah, if you're going to ground out, you definitely don't want it to be to third base when you have a runner on third, because that effectively halts any chance of the runner making it home, barring any errors. So it is a disappointing outcome of that at-bat for the Tigers, especially given how dangerous Brady can be. Lockridge is due up next. Quick discussion in the circle for Wartburg.
Yeah, they're bringing out one of their assistant coaches just to take a deep breath and probably get some defense figured out. You got to go to first base here, but you're more really conversing about Lockridge. The second baseman's hitting 1 for 2 today with a double, and an extra a ball that leaves the infield is on the ground, or a blooper that leaves the infield is sure to get the Tiger lead.
Yeah, and obviously in this situation a single would suffice, but it's I would be amiss not to mention that Lockridge does have 3 extra base hits this season, 2 doubles and a triple coming into today.
Well, as you just saw on the screen, the wind is picking up. This might be the strongest gust we have seen today, and it could help Lockridge. As we said, only 4 extra base hits in her season. Could help her get one over the infield, and instead, it's called strike 1. I shouldn't say instead, because that's just the first pitch of the at-bat.
Of course, Mule will be hoping for 2 more of those, or even better, a quick ground out, quick pop up, end this inning as soon as possible.
Hits this one foul, so a quick 0-2 and some work to do for Lockridge. However, she did have a full count at bat her last time up, yet that ended in a strikeout. Her double came with only 1 pitch in the at-bat, which, you know, that means she has the ability to look at something that she wants and really still feel like she can swing at anything. Now she's got to protect. She times it up, hits it hard, it's to short. They have to make the play cleanly, and they do. A great play across the diamond for out number 3 there by Hassel.
Wartburg showing their quality by getting out of their toughest fix of this game so far. DePaul had a real chance to go up, and instead, we go into the final frame tied at 2 apiece.
Well, we will play a full 7th inning nonetheless right after this from a quick word of our sponsors here at iwsports.com.
Why is Illinois Wesleyan the #1 school in Illinois for jobs? Maybe it's because we're the AND University. That's right, A-N-D. And here you can explore the arts and study in a pre-professional program, double major, and play a sport, do an internship, and study abroad. Your opportunities are endless. Set yourself apart with a degree from Illinois Wesleyan.
I'm Caden Sexton. Alongside me is Kirill Anatazov. Kirill, we are about to watch inning number 7, and really, despite the batting lineup not starting at the top, everything else makes inning number 7 just like inning number 1.
Yeah.
Except the fact that it ends if somebody gets a run.
Yeah, this is a difficult spot to be in for both teams, really, but at least they're familiar with it. This is exactly how they entered the 7th inning in Game 1 of this doubleheader, except in this case, there's been even less runs, even less openings, which is exactly why DePaul will be rattled by the fact that they left a runner stranded on third base. They had a runner on third with 1 out, and in the end, 2 quick outs for Wartburg got rid of the danger.
So it is Jenna Wabenge, who, I talked to last night, didn't mention. I've actually visited her hometown of Makokata to go caving with the Boy Scouts. You don't normally see many players on the roster where especially when they're out of state, where you know any of the towns, but I've actually not let alone been there, as it's going to be a pop out to right field. That's the third time she's done that today for her 0-3 at bat number 3, and an out early for the Knights, who she's got all smiles, but they're now one less out to get a rally here in the top of the 7th. They were the home team in game 1, so they got to bat second, but they hit the walk-off. Now they've got to make the run count. If they run count right now, if they don't want to go into the bottom of the 7th, trying to keep the game tied.
And DePaul will be feeling as if it would be some form of poetic justice if they get to walk this off. It would be leave the day perfectly balanced heading into our second doubleheader of the day between Illinois Wesleyan and Lake Forest.
So here's Mulder. She is 0 for 2 on the day.
Did come into this game batting .349. And, she's already recorded 2 home runs, which is not a bad mark whatsoever. She's also second in the team in RBI with 11.
A 1-2 count quickly for her. The designated player has been either at second or at designated player, but either way has been the 5-hole for every game in the tournament here for her Wartburg Knights. This one's going back. It's going deep, and it hits the top of the wall. If the Illinois Wesleyan's facilities didn't have that tall of a center field, it would have been out of here. Nonetheless, it's a sliding triple, and now things are completely different thanks to Mulder. Instead of it being a tie game with 1 out and nobody on, you've got a runner just 1 bag from scoring.
Mulder doing what she does best. What a moment to produce that good of a hit. And you mentioned just how close that was, achingly close, but incredible awareness from her. She was watching that. She was hoping that would leave the ballpark, and as she's running into second, she sees it's bounced off the wall, and instinctive reaction is to go for third. It's the right choice. She gets a triple, and now Wartburg are in a fantastic situation. DePaul squandered away a similar situation. We'll see now.
And an incredible hit from the freshman from Grimes, Iowa. That's just the level of confidence that the freshman has. She's going to get an ovation as she walks off for the pinch runner. The pinch runner for her squad will be Liz Kruckenberg, the freshman from Mason City, Iowa. But, just Mulder's first triple, and what a time to get your first collegiate triple.
Yeah, if there's anything that can comfort her at the fact that didn't leave the ballpark, it's the fact that she managed a triple.
So swinging through that one, back in the game is Metz. So she's been out the whole time. We don't know what the decision was to pull her, but she takes back over. She popped out to left her first at-bat, swung through strike 1.
Reminder that she did knock in one of the runs in game 1.
And here's strike 2 on her. Yeah, she's had a prolific tournament, and somebody who has been fighting to move their spot up in the lineup. We don't know why the sophomore from Williamsburg, Iowa, didn't see action as of late, but nonetheless, she's here when it's time, when it matters.
Absolutely. Would be quite the return if she can get this in play.
That
Keeps
one's
the count alive.
Yeah, fouled back, so staying at 0-2. But man, Allie Happ, the junior from Durant, has played the rest of this game. She was going into this at-bat 0-1, I understand, but still, I don't know what happened to Metz, but this is the one you needed her back out there.
And if anyone's going to produce a hit, it's her, because next up is Stephanie Kiefer, who's averaging 167 for the season. Obviously, could produce a moment of magic just like any player on either of these squads could, but you would rather trust Riley Metz to knock in the go-ahead run.
And Kiefer, you know, she's 0 for 2 today, both flyouts to right field. So with this wind being rapid now, a flyout to right field could easily bring the runner in, but she's, right now we don't have to worry about her. We've got to worry about Metz, who's battling at the plate. And again, that wind can help her as well. It's going now towards, I mean, it's probably going straight out, but you really need a ball in right field, if not right center, to be able to score a run.
Yeah, we'll see what she can produce.
Deep center does the job as well. The wind probably can bring it back there, and it was foul tip. I mean, the wind probably brought that ball to the wall for Mulder, if we're being honest, especially with how aggressive it is. And now Coach Mueller wants to just have a word with her sophomore before she steps into the box. She's been battling very well, but just wants to boat the confidence in her before this continues.
And the fans are aware of just how tense this moment is. They've been raucous all game, but now they've quieted down. Laser focus from everyone in this stadium.
The 1-2, and it's swung on for strike 3, and now things get interesting. The triple could all be for nothing with 2 outs and Kiefer to the dish.
Romero Salas, you just have to hand it to her. Other than that second inning slip-up, she has been near flawless, and if she gets out of this jam, her toughest one since that second inning, just absolute credit to her.
She allowed a homer in the third, but ever since then, she's been nearly flawless in anything that's gotten past her. I mean, the first hit that got past her since that home run was the triple that nearly left the park itself.
And she recovered so well to record a strikeout.
Exactly. Now it's the sophomore from Phoenix, Arizona, and Stephanie Kiefer. She didn't play in the first game, and it goes right back to Romero Salas. For a brief moment, she thought about going to home, which would have made things dicey, but then she recalled how many outs she had and easily gets it over at first.
Mental composure from the pitcher, and DePaul escaped the same way Wartburg escaped in the bottom of the 6th. Now DePaul does the same exact thing, and we are still level at 2 with half an inning to play.
Well, this is going to be interesting, Krill. It's the same thing as last time where we've got a tie game into the bottom of the 7th. I mean, one of the big differences is this is your third pitcher in Avery Mull. We only saw one in both of the first 2 games, and today for the Tigers, we've only seen one in this second game as well. You can see Lake Forest warming up underneath Inspiration Field's batting cages. We saw earlier today as Illinois Wesleyan Titans softball themselves over on Tucci Stadium, warming up with the lacrosse players. They would love to get the second game underway, especially with the sun leaving in some dark clouds in our left field distance. But nonetheless, we can't start the second game until the first ends. And DePaul and Wartburg here tied going into the bottom of the 7th.
Yeah, could very well turn into extra innings, although if history is any indication, we did get a walk-off in Game 1.
I will say though, the broadcaster jinx is that if you say the word extra innings, we get extra innings. So you just spoke into fruition.
I hope Illinois Wesleyan and Lake Forest can forgive me.
All right, so Hines, the first batter for the Tigers to try and start off this rally. She looks at a ball outside. The freshman from Melrose Park, as the wind dies down, is 1 for 2 today with a single and a fly out to center. Hits this one hard on the ground, over to first and out. Easy play there to retire the first by Hassel.
Yeah, Hassel does very well. Times her pickup well, and it's another great throw. Now Romero Salas has been pivotal in this game. Incredible, just near perfect in the circle, other than that triple over the last 4 or 5 innings. And now could she be the two-sided hero by producing something special at the plate?
Entering the tournament, she had a 500 career batting average, just over 500 to be fair. She slugs at 850, and I mean, going into this game as well, she is 1 for 1 with a double and a walk. Love to at least keep the on-base streak alive as she looks at strike 2.
And I think if DePaul end up coming out on the wrong end of this game like they did in Game 1, the person you'll feel most for is Romero Salas, because she has truly done everything she can on both sides.
Tigers have came so close to winning all 3 of their games, yet are the only team in this tournament to not get a victory yet.
Wartburg hoping to keep that trend going. And got a quick out to start the bottom of the 7th. Mule looking confident.
A high pitch, and it gets half the spectators here in the bleachers to make some happy noises and half to make some not happy noises on the 2-2 count. The 2-2 fouled away, so we stay where we are. I mean, the two-way player would love to just do it herself like she has been so many times today, but it's not going to be just her unless if we get a solo shot, and home runs are not really her specialty. She's got 2 on the year, 5 out of her 3 seasons with the Tigers. And that one, a big gasp for the fans in orange. A lot of smiles in the infield after that call to ball 3.
Yeah, this crowd's getting really into it, and you can feel the tension somehow. It's even more palpable than in the first game.
The full count pitch between Mole and Romero Salas, and it's a swinging strike 3. All right, folks, one more out to give here in the 7th inning of play.
Mule saying, anything you can do, I can do. And she responds brilliantly.
We are going to have a pinch hitter. It is Katie Mathias, another player who played in the first 3 games just like Cox did, who's got to sit in this second one. Katie Mathias, a senior from Shelbyville, Indiana, entered the tournament with a 400 average, which didn't rank top 3, but what did rank number 1 was her home runs, her RBIs, and her walks. She was been named to the All-Conference first team the last 2 years and was the NFCA All-Region team in last season.
Yeah, you mentioned Sue Anderson's tendency to bring on really capable batters late on as pinch batters, and she's the exact character, the exact profile of player you want in this situation. Now, I'm sure DePaul were hoping to bring her out with runners on base, but anything will do here.
So nobody on in the first game. Again, I get to do this again as she looks at ball 1. I get to do this again. In the first game, Mathias went 1 for 3 with a single in her first at-bat. So she would love just to knock one in after not getting to get a hit for a moment. And it looks like, unless if I'm mistaken, it looks like rain has started to fall here at Inspiration Field in Bloomington. We're at a 2-0 count, but do you see rain as well, Kirill, or is this just me? I've seen the umbrellas coming out, and it's definitely raining.
Yeah, this is... if there's one twist we haven't had in this doubleheader, it is a rain delay, and I really don't want to speak that into existence. I think both teams and both sets of fans can agree with me. That would add so much tension to an already nail-biting situation.
And we would have... we played in light rain yesterday, but we stopped when it got rough. It's a 3-1 count. Both these teams know what it's like to play in the rain, as they both had to do it yesterday in the evening. But the rain always slows things down and makes it a completely different game.
Yeah, I think in this situation, so close to what should be the end, the umpiring staff are trying to keep this going for as long as possible, and we see Mathias take base.
Yeah, Mathias with a well outside pitch makes complete sense of why you don't swing at those ones, and so she takes and works the walk. It will be a pinch runner. It's number 6, so it's the same player who was in that hitting spot, Mia Spadell, who just gets to go back out and take her spot again after Mathias worked the walk. We have fans now who, again, they're very into this game, but it's coming down, the rain's coming down sideways. It's getting harder now, and fans are starting to walk out of the bleachers. The pitcher there in Mule Mole had to hide her face because of the rain starting to come down. This is something we haven't played through yet this tournament. We're already going to start this now. The needing a new ball after every at-bat. You're going to have to just keep it clean, keep it covered in your mitt. And now we need a stoppage for the hitter to wipe off her hands. We're looking for a towel so that Minobi doesn't slip on the bat. That would be not fun if she swings and the bat goes sideways.
And it looks like we are getting a rain delay. They were trying to push it to the end of the 7th, regardless of if that's the end or if we go into extras. But the players are coming off the diamond as if it could get more dramatic. Mother Nature said, why, yes, it can. Here we are, rain delay in the bottom of the 7th with 2 out.
Well, folks, we're supposed to have 2 more games here today at Inspiration Field. We're going to go take a break in a moment to try and figure out, number 1, what's going on with this game, but number 2, we're going to try and figure out how what's going to be the rest of this afternoon with 2 more games with Lake Forest and Illinois Wesleyan slated to be going on later. I'm Caden Sexton. Alongside me is Kirill Anatosiov. We'll sign off in a second. Just for a moment, we're going to just take a muted break, folks. But before we go, the situation we're leaving you on, it's a 2-2 game with 2 outs here in the bottom of the 7th inning. The runner is on first for a 1-0 count on Minobi, the leadoff hitter, but don't know how this is going to play out. We'll get some information, go back live afterwards. Stay tuned here on IWSports.com as the rain keeps falling and you don't want to miss what happens next. the Katie Mathias got on base with a walk in the pinch hit spot. Spadal goes back out there to run. And so now Minobi, who took ball 1 right before the rain delay got called, she went back to the dugout to try and wipe off her hands, and that resulted in the stoppage of play because the umpire realized that it was getting bad. It was a light drizzle, so he started walking back out there, and now he goes and gets this play back live. And so the first pitch comes to Minobi, and it's called, well, it's the second pitch, the first pitch since the rain delay, so we are officially back on. It is a 2-0. So 2-0 count here. It was an 0-for-3 day for Minobi. She took game 1 off, but played the other 3 games of this tournament, and it's going to be quick 3 balls for her. It's not what you want if you're Avery Mole to come out and throw 2 balls, because not only you have 1 more to give thanks to the 1 pitch before the rain delay. So now a 3-0 on Minobi, and it's going to be called ball 4. And so the walk ensues, and now we've got runners on first and second for Heim. The rally really is starting here if you are the Tigers. Riley Heim, the senior from Indianapolis, Indiana, entered the weekend hitting .231, a career .277, so a little bit off for her senior year, but nonetheless, this tournament, she's 0-for-1 today with 2 walks. She moved up to the 2-hole after some good hitting in this tournament, and she takes ball 1. Mull not really able to find the strike zone right now after having 2 straight walks, 1 before and 1 after our brief rain delay. Another ball. She now has thrown at least, because I don't remember how many consecutive in the Mathias at bat, but at least a consecutive 7 balls. And we have a stoppage of play for our outfield in Bradar and center, but we play on. 2 outs, 2-0 count with runners on first and second, so only 1 in scoring position, but 1 is all you need. That lead runner wins the game up the middle. It's going to be 1. Can Bradar get her in? She's rounding the bases. The tag! In time for out number 3! My goodness, Bradar saves the game once more! Spadal came in as the pinch runner for herself. She wanted to be able to end this thing, but instead, it's a throw in back from Bradar in center for out number 3. I'll take a short break before we start extra innings, the first extra innings of this 8-game tournament here at Illinois Wesleyan University.
I can see it now. The smell of the grass on the quad. That sense of excitement in the air each fall. It feels like yesterday. While I'm no longer 18, I know there are students out there ready for an opportunity like I had. For the space to discover passions, bond over dreams, and make lifelong friends. Breakthrough at Illinois Wesleyan University.
So it's the 8th inning of work for pitcher Alex Romero-Salez. She will get extras as well. And there is a defensive substitution over at second base for the Tigers instead of... No, I am mistaken. Lockridge stays out there. It will be a defensive or an offensive substitution when we come back out. We are not going to see Larson Larson hitting. Instead, it'll be the other catcher, and Freely, who will get the at-bat here to start off extras. So Freely in game number 1. Went 1 for 3 with an RBI double. And so the runner starting at second is what they were notifying up in the booth. It'll be, instead of it being number 15, Kiefer, it is number 3 out there at second base to be the extra runner in Amanda Strazeski. Carol, you did predict the extra innings, didn't you?
Well, it seemed overdue after the way the first game ended. It just, it does feel like the fitting end to this doubleheader, and the rain delay, however brief, just adds to the spectacle around this fixture. It's been a spectacular game, truly. A great doubleheader overall.
This one's hit hard, and it is going down the line. It'll be a base hit for Freely. And the runner, Shuriski, slides in safely, head first, and an overthrow, but Freely's going to stay at the bag. So she knocks in an RBI single, and then advances to second to get the first run scored. And we've got a 3-2 ball game, our first score since the third inning homer by Fellows.
Riley Feely doing so well. That is exactly how you want to start extra innings. After getting out of a tight squeeze, they had the difficulty of having to defend after the rain delay in the bottom of the 7th, and now they're back, and they've started extra innings prolifically. No mistake. Now they want to run up the score with no outs and a runner on second still. They want to make this a secure cushion and go into the bottom of this inning without any doubts.
Right, because you can easily pull off a bunt, a squeeze play that gets your runners back around the bases. And so one is not that hard to do when the runner's already starting at second with no outs. So this, even though this is the time for the extra attack, as a little bit of a pass ball there, but we remain the count 1-1. The humidity, thanks to the rain, is now deafening, and so I'm going to open up our window a little bit. Addie Wells 1-2 today. She singled in the third inning, but struck out in the 5th. We're now in inning 8, so bunts this one. Right back to the pitcher, and as I was saying, the bunt is a sacrifice, but it moves the runner over, and so now 1 out, and the runner is just a few feet away from scoring, being the second of this extra inning.
That's what you do in that situation, because like you mentioned, DePaul get a runner on second to start their batting later too. So 1 run is not the secure lead that it can be, and even then it isn't, but it's a little bit more secure when you don't have an automatic runner on second, whereas here could be a big problem.
So Fellows, the leadoff hitter, back at the top of the lineup for strike 1. She is 2 for 3 today with a single and a home run off Romaro Salas.
Yeah, she's a big moment player. We saw that in the bottom of the 7th inning in game 1. Now she has another opportunity here.
Fouls that one back, so we've got 2 quick strikes.
Romero Salas has put in a shift, but she could yet get credited with a loss for this game.
And a not deserving loss indeed, but you can't give the win to a pitcher on both sides. This one's going to be a blooper, and it's going to be an easy infield, or an easy single for Fellows to get another RBI and get the cushion to 2.
This is what you want in extra innings. That's the importance. And now we're understanding the importance of that first hit, because with a runner on second automatically changes the dynamic entirely. If you get that quick out, if you're on the defensive side, no harm, no foul. You know, runner on second, 1 out is not a dangerous situation. But any ball that gets into play off the bat, immediately there's danger.
So here's Reagan Hassel now. The sophomore had the walk-off in game 1. She is 0 for 3 today. As Reagan Hassel hits this one hard to third. It was off the glove. Can they make the assist over to short? They cannot. So a single for Hassel to keep this inning alive.
And now it's all falling apart for DePaul, and that's the danger in extra innings. After that first hit, it can get out of hand really quickly, and the one thing they don't want to do is make this a 3-run game, because then we're talking seriously unrealistic comeback. It could yet be a rally from DePaul. They would love to leave Bloomington with the win, but looks like there may be a different fate in store for them.
And this one is bunted by Bradar. She's got the speed, but she doesn't get there. She advances the runners, though, so a sack bunt for out number 2.
Smart bunt, certainly, because now if you get a single into the outfield, if you get a hit to drop, that's probably 2 runs.
So Wabenge, she's flown out to right field in the 1st, the 4th, and the 7th inning. I think if you ask her what she wants to do in this at-bat, she's going to say fly out to right field, right? That's what she wants?
If only it could drop, that would mean the world to the Knights.
I mean, that would seal this one, as that is a called strike on Wabenge. Wabenge is, got over 3 on the day, but she's one of their prolific hitters. 314 in the season entering the tournament, 282's career average. That one just dropped foul for her.
She'll be disappointed to see that one.
That would have been a drop in the right field.
Yeah, that would have been exactly what we were dreaming up for her.
You know, I'm surprised that with 3 balls out to right field, that our center fielder out there for the Titans, center fielder in Minobi, I'm surprised she is as dead center, if not a step to the left.
Yeah, it is quite the choice. I think they're trusting in the pitcher to take care of this.
Especially with the wind going right, that's going to be a ball. But with this wind pushing right, that means any ball that's not hit with the utmost of strength is going to kind of carry into the right field side anyways, let alone she's been hitting out there. That's probably what happened to that first foul ball.
Altogether, it just seems like coming back from the rain delay, which was very brief, but still just enough to disrupt the rhythm. DePaul, the one struggling to recover.
This is fouled up, and it's going over and on to... no, it goes on the concourse. One of the Lake Forest girls is going to go bring that back into fruition for us. So we'll do it again, a 1-2 count with 2 outs for Wabenge, the junior from Maquoketa, Iowa. And a beautiful pitch. A lot of chirping now, but nonetheless, umpires say goes. It's 2-2.
Yeah, probably the toughest call Romero Salas has had to deal with today. She's had some favorable calls as well, but that one, at least at first glance, appeared to be a perfect pitch.
Romero Salas got a good one, and advantage was taken by Wabenge, and Salas is lacking eyes, doesn't even see the double, so it is a 2 RBI double, and this went from a insurmountably close game with pressure that you can cut with a plastic knife to a 6-2 lead for the Knights.
Yeah, it's absolutely beautiful. I mean, Wartburg, the composure to come back, finish off the defensive side of the 7th inning after the rain delay, and then explode here. Just incredible. A huge test. Immense credit to Jamie Mueller and her staff. And, of course, to the players. I mean, Wabenge finding her biggest moment of the tournament right when it matters. 2 RBI, and all of a sudden it's a 4-run game. This is the highest scoring we've seen one of the teams record in an inning, of course, with the benefit of starting with the player on second.
I mean, at this point, without the... I get it, there was some, of course, decisions with the runner on second that allowed this, but even if the runner didn't start on second, we'd at least have 1 or 2 of these runs.
Yep. And honestly, despite the great performance she had through 7 innings, I was surprised to see Romero Salas pitch this 8th inning.
Especially after the rain delay. Again, it wasn't long, but still just the mental side of things. 0-2 back for Mulder, the designated player, got pinch ran for, but she tripled her last at-bat, so why not bring her back out? She did not score off that triple in the 7th inning, and that's why we got part of the reason, half the reason, the other reason being that the Tigers didn't score, but half the reason we went to extras. As Mulder swings through that one for strike 3. So we've got a lot to do if you are the DePaul Tigers. You're down 4 in the bottom of the 8th.
Yeah, it'll be not as dramatic as we anticipated these extra innings being because Wartburg absolutely exploded at the perfect time. Now DePaul face another uphill battle, and they are really inching towards a very unfortunate 0-4 record, given how well they've played for many patches throughout this weekend. Let's see if they have that magic in their bats to recover from what was a truly dominant display from the Knights.
It'll be the 3-4-5 for the Tigers, and it will be at least for now, unless if a pinch runner goes out there, it will be the Riley Hem spot in the lineup. Riley Hem herself or someone else will have to go out and run at second base for DePaul. And I mean, DePaul is extremely close to ending the tournament here at Illinois Wesleyan 0-4.
Yeah, Heim will start on second, and Kunster, Reinheimer, and Brady. Realistically, if you want anyone to be batting in a situation where you're down by 4 and you desperately need runs, those are the batters you want. That's a very, very dangerous part of the order, but I wouldn't fancy anyone's chances down 6-2 in the bottom of the 8th.
So it will be Ella Kenster to start things off. There is no runner yet at second. And after a brief moment of delay, it will be Riley Heim who goes out there, the senior from Indianapolis, to run for herself. Kenster, so far today, is 1 for 3 with a single in the 6th, her last time up to the plate. She takes strike 1.
Yeah, just clipping the outside. It's a good pitch from Mule, who's had a very unique pitching outing in so many ways. First of all, becoming the 3rd pitcher in this game, where the Wartburg defense hasn't even struggled that much, so a little surprising to see so much pitching rotation.
Well, it's also a tournament. You want to get people looks. You got people who have played a lot, so you don't want to have fatigue. But I agree with you. None of the pitchers have struggled, obviously, with a 2-run, 6-hit day as a complete unit. Nonetheless, making sure that everybody's staying fresh out there and getting their looks as well.
Yeah, and I don't want my comment to be mistaken as criticism. It's worked out better than what DePaul planned out, even though they had by far the best pitching performance of the day from Romero Salas, and it'll be tough to top even in the remaining 2 games. The fact that she's played the full game is a contributing factor to the current situation. They're down by 4.
Well, it's a contributing factor to extra innings and being down by 4, and I think that's this double-edged sword that Anderson is going to have to think about on the bus ride home. But Jamie Mueller clearly wanted to make sure everybody got some reps here in the last game of the doubleheader, at least pitching-wise. Hitting, we've seen pretty much the same rotation for them. A lot of differences in the lineup over in the black and yellow dugout. The Bumblebee colors, and ball 3, so with the runner on second, it is a full count.
And Kunster will want to get on base, even if it is with a walk, because Reinheimer has homered in this game.
Kenster's full count pitch, and it's called outside for ball 4.
We've spoken into existence. Now Reinheimer coming up. What would it be? It would be truly remarkable if she was able to replicate what she did in that 2nd inning. It would turn this game on its head all of a sudden. A 1-run game, but even a base hit can get the ball rolling and bring in a run.
Exactly. I mean, she's already gotten the homer. If she can do it again, you've got a complete different mentality. Instead, it's going to be a grounder. Wells going to try and get the lead runner, and she does get the out. So Reinheimer gets over to first, but the out recorded nonetheless.
Yeah, not that bat Reinheimer wanted, because it essentially the only thing that's changed on the scoreboard is 1 out. And now you have a speedy runner out of the fray. Wells doing well to get back to that bag in time.
So they are going to pinch hit Reinheimer. It's Kentenster is still over at first. I'm sorry, now at second thanks to the movement. And it looks like number 12 for DePaul, which would be Evie Kruger. We did see the Indianapolis native in the first game pinch run, and she will be the second runner on base for Brady.
Yeah, big moment for her to step in. She is a freshman. Yeah, any sort of grounders in the infield, you especially want to avoid a double play to wrap up this game.
First pitch to the sophomore is low for ball one. Paige Brady, 2 pop-outs to center and a grounder to third for her 3 at-bats so far today. The 1-0. And it is a called strike one to even the count.
On deck, you have Maddie Lockridge averaging .343 for the season. You get the bases loaded for her. She'll gladly oblige. She doesn't have a home run this year, but she does have 3 RBI.
1-1. Now 2-1 is the count. Again, 1 out, runners on first and second. The lead runner was taken out on that play by Addie Wells, but Avery Mull still dealing in the circle and only has to get 2 more before 4 cross the plate.
Yeah, she doesn't seem fazed by the situation. She's aware of the cushion they have.
The cushion obviously created by their offense. This is going to be a base hit, and they're not going to go take home. Thought about it for a second, but they've got a lot to give and didn't want to cost one of their outs on a throwdown, something that this defense has already done time and time again.
Kiefer does well to keep that ball from extending too far into the outfield. She does very well, as a matter of fact. Bases loaded, not an ideal situation, but better than having a run brought home. And all of a sudden, you'd have a much closer game. Instead, bases loaded for Lockridge. Again, the tying run is at the plate.
I mean, a grand slam would be poetic for the first win in the tournament for the Tigers. Lockridge 1 for 3 today.
Even a grand
Wow, a lot of voices on both sides after that called strike. 1-2. Yeah, the video board still says 1-0 here in Inspiration Field. That was a called strike, so it is 0-1 for Lockridge. Is that one outside to even the count? Lockridge, a 1-3 day with a double in her first time up. And the umpire is trying to notify that it is a 1-1 count.
Important clarification in a moment like this, because a walk could change the game.
Now it is 2-1, so again, the video board saying 3. He is trying to signal back it's 2-1. Umpire's count is what matters, though, not what is on the scoreboard. We play on with the 2-1 count. The pitch, and it's hit back up the middle, so the count never mattered. It's trying a second double play. It won't, so it is safe, and on the fielder's choice, an RBI is brought in, and so now it is a 3-run game, and the tying runner back to the plate.
As a matter of fact, now we have the go-ahead run, or the winning run, at the plate. So a grand slam would, I used this term last week, blow the proverbial roof off of Inspiration Field. Whether we'll see it or not, only time will tell.
It is called strike one on Hines. Kendall Hines, the freshman from Melrose Park, hasn't had a much bigger situation than this. She entered the tournament hitting 8-16. She's 1 for 3 today, and she's kept pretty much the 500 batting average consistent. I think it's dipped just a hair, but still staying 500 in this tournament. And that one called ball to even the count.
Yeah, that fielder's choice, I think at the end of the day, Wartburg will be happiest about that, even though it does bring up the winning run. They haven't gone deep into the outfield recently. The DePaul Tigers haven't.
Hines fouls this one back, so now the advantage is to Mole. It's 2 strikes. You've got Romero Salas on deck. You know she's envious to try and make up for her mistakes, but she needs Hines to get out of this 1-2 jam for her to have that opportunity.
Yeah, Avery Mule is one good pitch away from finishing off this game.
2 outs, runners on the corners. Avery Moles, foul ball, will do it again.
And even though she's still down in the count, Kendall Hines' foul ball there is a good thing for her. Just showing that she's hanging in there. She's going to keep fighting until the very end.
Well, I can already see both Illinois Wesleyan and Lake Forest's pitchers are warming up in their respective bullpens. They are ready for game number 2 of the day. The pitch. It's swung on. It's going to short. Cross the diamond, and off was the throw, and so only 1 run scores, but off the air, an RBI for Hines. That over at short was Hassels, whose throw was a little too aggressive, and the game continues on.
And I think every single person, regardless of who they're cheering for in the stadium, thought that was the game. A much-needed discussion now in the circle, because that's thrown a wrench in everything. All of a sudden, this game is getting close again, and that's something Wartburg thought they had avoided with their 4-run outing in the top of the 8th.
And so Kruger scores, lead becomes 2, but that 2 runs are both on the base. The tying run is at first, the winning run is standing at the plate. Runners on the corners now, as Lockridge did advance 2 on that errant throw.
Yeah, there's so many things to discuss now, and it's only fitting that the coach comes out there for a quick discussion.
Well, if you're Jamie Mueller, you have to say to yourself, take a deep breath. We already have 2 outs. Strike out, step on first, or step on second, or throw it to one of those bags. It's not a hard thing to go out there and say as a coach. And I think that's what you got to do. Just say, take a deep breath, and just go to your closest bag.
The good news is, in this situation where they did step on second, and it looked like it was going to be a double play, another one of those plays where they step on second, that'll do it in this situation. So let's see if Romero Salas has forgotten about the top of this inning.
In the batter's box today, she is 1 for 2 with a double and a walk. She had a great, after the second inning blow up. Or, no, I'm sorry, she had 1 run allowed in the first, 1 run allowed in the third, which was a homer, and then, of course, the 4-run 8th inning in extras that got us to this point. She's at a 1-1 count now.
Yeah, and if she's the last out after the top of the 8th inning that she had, all after delivering her very best for 7 innings, there's not going to be a single soul more disappointed than Alex Romero Salas.
The 1-1 to the junior is called strike 2. So now, who's the batter Romero Salas, who struck out the last time through the lineup, has a lot to think about. It's a 1-2 count. She's always had 2 balls in all 3 of her previous at-bats at a minimum, if not 3. She fouls that one into her dugout. My goodness, I hope nobody got hit and everybody was paying attention in there. We will go once more. Romero Salas, 1-2 count, 2 outs. Runners on the corners. The tie at first. She's the lead. And that one goes over. And we play again. And she can get pinch ran for, but because of the 2 outs, there is no changing the fact that she has to touch home plate for the win. As long as the runner at first, though, in Hines touches home, they can keep playing.
Yep. And now for Avery Mule, those 2 foul balls, just making her throw a couple extra pitches. Let's see how she handles it.
And she has to unload more of her pocket. And it'll be a simple grounder to third, and Romero Salas will jog it out. But the Wartburg College Knights get their 3rd win of the tournament. They lose to Wesleyan, but then win their next 3, and they go 3-1 on the weekend. DePaul Tigers 0-4.
Yeah, what a spectacular doubleheader this was, start to finish. That first game, we saw drama in the 7th inning, a walk-off triple, and now in this game, you see the sportsmanship on display right away. And there's no debating that this could have gone either way. But Wartburg, they just had enough in the most important moments. The Knights will be thrilled to come away with 2 wins from this doubleheader, and you can't say it wasn't deserved. At the same time, you can't say it was deserved for DePauw to lose twice. Nonetheless, a great game, and I think any softball enjoyer can say that this was a wonderful day of softball for these two teams.
DePauw might be the first team I've watched lose 4 games and question how they lost 4 games, and it's not because of that's not a knock on them. That is not meant to be a negative comment. That is meant to be a compliment. They've played 4 great games. It's just the run total and the end did not show up in their favor. I think also, again, this is a neutral site for everybody but Wesleyan, but this is the first time the quote-unquote road team won besides Illinois Wesleyan beating DePauw last night.
Yeah, I mean, that's not unimportant. Yes, they don't have home field advantage, but it matters when you bat. And it especially plays a role in extra innings. Generally, being the home team, whether nominal or literal, is considered a favor, considered an advantage. But in this case, when it goes to extra innings, I would argue it's the opposite. I would argue that role is flipped, and Wartburg proved that with their 4-run outing in the 8th inning.
Any final thoughts on this one, sir?
Just hands off. Just hats off. Genuinely, you have to applaud both teams. It was a really fun one to watch and a really fun one to call. We're very grateful to have had you with us, and we're very excited to have you back very soon for the second half of Day 2 here at the IWU Invite.
You are correct. We are just halfway through today's softball action. That was a 6-4 final with Wartburg beating the DePauw Tigers, but we are just now halfway done. We will, in very momentarily, watch Illinois Wesleyan, the host of the tournament, play 2 against the Lake Forest Foresters. Again, the 2 teams we haven't seen today and the only 2 teams that haven't seen each other. I'm Caden Sexton alongside Karul Anastasov. A great 2 games back-to-back between the Tigers and the Knights, but now it's just about waiting for the host team to get their 3rd and 4th licks of this tournament. From all of our crew, we thank you for watching those 2 games of the doubleheader, and we know you're going to be ready for games 3 and 4. Stay tuned and switch on to the next stream here on IW Sports for the remainder of the day.